All right, so you're prepping for a business lecturer interview, ready to inspire those future business minds. That's awesome. We're going deep into RoleCatcher's resources today. We've got career paths, interview questions, even their AI tools. Let's make sure you don't just answer the questions, but really stand out.
You know what really strikes me about RoleCatcher's approach? It's how they give you those real-world examples and insights into what those interviewers are really looking for. It's like you've got this backstage pass to the whole hiring process.
Yeah, it really is. So before we jump into that interview hot seat, let's set the stage with a quick overview of what the business lecturer role actually is.
Okay, so the career guide, business lecturer, that's going to be our roadmap here. And it highlights those core responsibilities, teaching, of course, but there's also research, collaborating with colleagues, and mentoring students. It's a demanding role, but it's also incredibly rewarding.
Demanding but rewarding. I like that. And the guide also mentions potential burnout, something to think about as you picture your future in this field.
Absolutely. Finding that work-life balance is so crucial, especially in academia. And speaking of the future, the guide also outlines that typical career path you can take, from entry level all the way up to principal lecturer, with real-world examples for each stage. We can come back to that later if you want to dive into those details.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm curious about those. But first, let's tackle those interview questions. RoleCatcher's interview guide, business lecture, and their interview questions repository. They're packed with insights, and they don't just list questions. They give you the inside scoop on what interviewers want to hear, and even those potential follow-up questions.
Yeah, it's like having a cheat sheet for the interview.
You know?
It's really important to remember that they're not just looking for those textbook answers. Hiring committees, they want to see your passion for business education,
Yeah.
your ability to engage students, and your commitment to keeping current in that ever-evolving business world.
Okay, let's get specific. The interview guide starts with a classic question. Can you tell us about your teaching experience? It seems pretty straightforward, but what are they really trying to uncover with that?
Well, they're looking beyond just a list of your previous roles. They want to see how your experience matches up with their institution and the level of students that you'll be teaching. So think about the specific courses you've taught, the size and diversity of your student populations, and any teaching methods you've used that really resonate with their program.
So it's about showcasing the depth and relevance of your experience. What kind of follow-up questions should we be ready for?
Definitely be prepared to discuss your most challenging teaching experience. That's where you can really show off your problem-solving skills. And how adaptable you are in the classroom. Have a story ready, one that highlights how you handled a tough situation with a student, or how you adjusted your teaching to meet different learning needs.
Yeah, great point. Sharing those real-world stories really brings your answers to life. Okay, next question. How do you keep up to date with industry trends and developments? I imagine this is pretty crucial in a field as dynamic as business.
Well, it's absolutely essential. They want to see that you're not just teaching from those old textbooks.
Mhm.
They want to know that you're genuinely passionate about the business world and how it's evolving. Think about mentioning specific publications you read, maybe The Economist or Harvard Business Review, or any industry conferences that you attend.
Yeah, name-dropping those reputable sources definitely adds credibility. And be prepared to discuss some specific trends that have caught your eye,
Yeah,
especially those that connect to the courses you'd be teaching.
exactly. Let's say you're interested in teaching marketing. You can mention the whole rise of influencer marketing or how data-driven strategies are becoming so important. Show them you're not just aware of the trends, but that you're really thinking critically about how they impact business education.
Okay, this next one is a bit more on the philosophical side. Can you describe your teaching philosophy?
Mm.
It feels like a chance to really showcase your passion for education. But how do we avoid getting too abstract or vague?
Instead of just using buzzwords, ground your philosophy in actual examples. If you're all about hands-on learning, describe a project where students created a business plan, or maybe they conducted market research. If you value fostering critical thinking, talk about how you use debates or case studies in your teaching.
That's a great tip. Bring your philosophy to life with those concrete examples. Speaking of engaging students, let's tackle this question. How do you motivate and engage students in your classes?
All right, this is where your enthusiasm really comes into play. They want to see that you're not just giving those dry lectures, you're creating an environment where students are actually excited to learn. Mention those interactive activities, like simulations or group projects, and be ready to share those stories about how you've sparked those aha moments for your students.
So we're painting a picture of an engaging, dynamic classroom. What about incorporating technology into your teaching? How important is that for a business lecturer?
It's becoming more and more vital. The interviewer is probably going to ask about how comfortable you are with technology and how you've used it to make your teaching better. So instead of just saying PowerPoint, talk about interactive platforms you've used, like Kahoots for quizzes, or online simulations that let students experience those real-world business scenarios.
Yeah, it's all about going beyond the basics, showcasing that tech savviness. Let's be real, today's students are digital natives. You got to speak their language.
Exactly. And speaking of speaking their language, let's talk about catering to different learning styles, they might ask. How do you tailor your teaching to those different learning styles and abilities?
Ah, yes, the diverse classroom.
Yeah.
What are some specific examples we can use to show off our adaptability?
Think about all the different ways you present information. Visual aids, audio recordings, written summaries. Do you offer different kinds of assessments, essays, presentations, group projects to appeal to those different learning preferences? Have you used any adaptive learning platforms, those ones that personalize the learning experience for each student?
Those are great examples.
Oh,
And if
like-
you've ever created individual learning plans for students with disabilities, that's definitely something worth mentioning. Shows that you're committed to inclusivity and meeting students where they're at.
Absolutely. And before we move on to more questions, let's touch on how RoleCatcher's AI tools can give you an edge in your prep. Their AI can actually analyze job descriptions to pinpoint those specific skills and keywords that hiring committees are looking for.
So it's not just about having a generic set of answers. It's about tailoring your responses to each specific job you apply for.
Exactly. And their AI-powered feedback system can help you refine your answers and make sure they're clear, concise, and impactful. It's like having a personal interview coach right in your pocket.
That's right.
Having your answers tailored to the specific school and job can really make a difference. Now let's get back to those interview questions. This next one might seem a little daunting. Can you discuss a time when you had to deal with a difficult student or classroom situation?
Ah, yes. The dreaded classroom conflict question. No one enjoys those moments, but they can be valuable learning experiences. It's not about bad-mouthing a student, right?
Exactly. The interviewer is really trying to see your conflict resolution skills and your ability to keep a positive learning environment. Choose an example that shows the steps you took to handle the situation, not just the student's behavior.
Okay, so what kind of scenario would be good to share?
Let's say a student was always disrupting class. You could talk about how you set clear expectations from the very first day, and how you talk to the student privately about their behavior. You could even say how you got parents or administrators involved if you needed to. Always focusing on open communication and finding solutions.
So it's all about showing your proactive approach and your commitment to making a supportive space for everyone. Okay, this next question is about assessment. How do you assess student learning and progress? I'm guessing they want more than just exams and quizzes.
Definitely. It's about showing that you get different assessment methods and how you use them to measure if students are learning what they should. Think about all the tools you've used. Presentations, projects, essays, even peer evaluations. Highlight how you pick assessments that match the goals of your course.
And what about giving feedback? Is that something they're interested in?
For sure. Your approach to feedback says a lot about how you teach. Do you give detailed written comments? Do you meet with students one-on-one to talk about their progress? Do you use technology to give feedback quickly and in a targeted way? Show them you're dedicated to helping students grow and get better.
Okay, let's try this one. Can you discuss a time when you had to adapt your teaching approach to meet the needs of a specific student or group of students? This feels like it's about being flexible and responsive.
It is. And they want a real example, not just a made-up situation. Think of a time you had to change your teaching style, the materials, or how you assess students to accommodate a student with a learning disability, for example.
Or maybe you had a class with students at very different levels, and you had to adjust your teaching to challenge the advanced students while still supporting those who were struggling.
Those are both great examples. The key is to show you can think on your feet, solve problems, and create an environment where everyone can learn. Now let's change gears a bit and talk about collaboration. They might ask, can you discuss a time when you had to collaborate with colleagues or industry partners to enhance student learning?
Collaboration is so important in any field, especially in the academic world. What kind of example would really hit home with interviewers?
Well, think about a time when you worked with other professors to create a new interdisciplinary course. Or maybe you teamed up with a local company to make a mentorship program or internship for your students.
Those are fantastic examples. It's all about showing you can work well with others to create great learning experiences for students. Okay, let's jump into the digital age with this question. How do you integrate technology into your teaching? I feel like this is a must-have skill for any business lecturer these days.
It absolutely is. The interviewer wants to see that you're not just okay with technology, but that you're using it in smart ways to make your teaching better and get students involved. Go beyond just mentioning PowerPoint and talk about more specialized tools.
So what kind of tech should we be highlighting?
Think about platforms like Bloomberg Terminals. They provide real-time financial data or business simulation software. That lets students make choices and see what happens in a virtual setting. You could even bring up online collaboration tools like Slack or Google Workspace. They're becoming super common in the workplace.
Those are great examples. It shows you're up to date on the tools that are shaping the business world and that you're using them in your teaching to get students ready for their careers. Now, before we wrap up this section on interview questions, I want to circle back to RoleCatcher's AI and how it can help us prepare.
Good point. I'm glad you brought that up. RoleCatcher's AI can do more than just analyze job descriptions. Their platform lets you practice answering these interview questions and get feedback from the AI.
So it's like having a virtual interview coach right there to point out where you can make your answers clearer, more concise, and more impactful. And if you don't love being on camera, they even have a video practice feature.
Exactly. You can record yourself answering questions and get an AI analysis of how you speak your body language and your overall performance. It can really help you build confidence and make sure you make a good impression.
Now that we've covered those common interview questions, let's switch gears and explore those career stages we talked about earlier. Remember the career guide. Business Lecturer maps out the typical path from entry-level to principal lecturer with real examples for each stage.
It's really cool to see where this role can take you and the impact you can make as you move up in your career. Let's look at the senior business lecturer level. What are you most curious about at that level?
For me, it's the leadership side of things at the senior business lecturer level. What does mentoring junior lecturers actually look like? And how much say do you have in where the department is going?
Well, it's a big step up in terms of responsibility. Mentoring could mean guiding new lecturers on how to design courses, teaching strategies, or even research methods. You're not just a teacher anymore. You're a role model and a support system for your colleagues. And when it comes to the department, you might lead curriculum development, start new initiatives, or even have a voice in who they hire for faculty positions.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. It sounds like you really have a chance to shape the future of business education at that level.
Oh.
The career guide also mentioned something about working with industry partners as a senior lecturer.
Yeah, that's right. Building those connections between the academic world and the business world becomes even more important. It could involve setting up internship programs, doing research projects with companies, or even bringing in guest speakers to share their real-world experience with students.
That's a great way to make sure what you're teaching stays relevant and to get those students ready for what they'll face in their careers. It's inspiring to see how much of an impact a business lecturer can have, not just on students, but on the whole business community.
It really is a career where you can make a difference. And speaking of making a difference, let's not forget about RoleCatcher's AI tools and how they can help you land that business lecturer job. Their personalized job matching feature is a game changer.
Oh yeah. By being in their database, you're basically putting your profile right in front of employers who are looking for people with your skills and experience. It takes the pressure off of constantly searching job boards and just hoping for the best.
It's like having a personal recruiter working for you 24/7, and their AI-powered CV and resume builder can help you tweak your application for each job description. So you're more likely to get noticed by those applicant tracking systems, those algorithms that scan resumes for keywords and qualifications.
Oh, yes, those applicant tracking systems.
Yeah.
They can be a bit of a mystery, but it's good to know that RoleCatcher's AI can help us get past those digital gatekeepers. So as you start your business lecturer journey, what does all of this mean for you?
It means you're not walking into that interview empty-handed. You've got insights into the role, you understand those common interview questions, and you've got RoleCatcher's AI to help you polish your answers and make a great first impression.
You're going in confident, ready to show your passion for business education and your vision for inspiring those future business leaders. But remember, the journey doesn't stop there.
This field is all about continuous learning, staying in tune with what's happening in the business world and always improving your skills. Embrace those chances to grow and develop.
Here's a final thought for you to think about as you prepare for that interview. Imagine yourself 5 years into this role. What kind of impact do you want to have made on your students and on the business world as a whole? Hold on to that vision. It'll be the fuel that drives your success.